and the crowd gasped like someone dropped a baby. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share these videos. So Eugene debuted on Monday Night Raw, and for several weeks, Eugene was just a character bouncing around doing all kinds of crazy antics, and he didn't really get in the ring and have a match until a few weeks in. But the first match that I had was against Rob Conway, and I was so fortunate to wrestle Rob because I've wrestled him either in a tag match with him or against him.
Well, actually, I've been looking for an excuse for quite some time to punch Rob in the face.
For probably 90% of my matches at OVW, we knew each other back and forth. We could always complete what the other one was thinking. And it started on April 18th, 2004. The Backlash pay-per-view came from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And it was La Resistance, Rob Conway, and Sylvain Grenier against Hurricane and Rosie. And Eugene went out, and this was the first time Eugene got in the ring. I just rolled in and started hitting the ropes, and everybody stopped. Oh my gosh, what was going on? William Regal gets me out, takes me to the back, and then Hurricane schoolboyed or hit Conway with a finish. 1, 2, 3. Eugene caused La Resistance to lose, caused Rob Conway to get pinned. Where will this lead? April 26, 2004. Monday Night Raw was from Topeka, Kansas. The match was Rob Conway against Rhino. During the match, Eugene and William Regal walk out to have a word with the announcers. Eugene goes down on the floor to play, and I came upon the box with all the buttons for the pyro. And I started pressing all the buttons, and all the pyro went off. Rob Conway ended up getting beat. He got distracted, got beat by Rhino. Funny note about that is earlier in the day when we were walking through the segment, William Regal and I walked down to where the commentators were. Eugene goes to the floor. I started pressing the buttons, and right there during the middle of the day, they shut off all the pyro. Regal and I started giggling like two school kids, and we ran to the back. I don't know what was so funny about it, but we thought it was hilarious. And that was like the first time that Regal and I connected as friends. And that's a memory that I keep with me that makes me chuckle every time I think about it. So after the Conway and Rhino match, later on in Monday Night Raw, a separate segment, Conway and Sylvain are in the back with Johnny Nitro at the time. Or was he Johnny Blaze? Or was he Johnny Mundo? I can't remember who he was. But John Hennigan was the stooge for Eric Bischoff. And he was making matches at the time because Bischoff was, of course, the general manager. And Conway's complaining to Johnny Nitro. And Johnny Nitro says, okay, in 2 weeks, it's going to be Rob Conway against Eugene. Eugene's first match. And that's where we made the match. Rob Conway against Eugene in 2 weeks because Eugene needed 1 week to prepare. So then May 3rd, 2004, Monday Night Raw came from Phoenix, Arizona. The showdown in Phoenix. The match was Rob Conway against the Hurricane. Rob went over strong and he cut the promo afterwards. Eugene, this is what's going to happen to you next week. And then Monday Night Raw cuts to one of my favorite segments. One segment that people always remind me of that was great was the Eugene and William Regal training video. William Regal and I had gone to Connecticut to the headquarters up there where they've got the ring. Dr. Tom was the trainer, and Eugene was taking a class in wrestling, in chain wrestling from William Regal. So William Regal goes to show Eugene a couple of different moves, and that's when everybody realized that Eugene was an idiot savant. He could do wrestling because I would counter every move. I would give Regal all the moves, and I didn't even need a lesson. And that's when Regal goes, I think you're ready. And Eugene jumps around so excited. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And that was the build-up for the next week. That was going to be Eugene against Rob Conway. Eugene's very first match, and I was ready. So the day had come. Eugene's debut match on Monday Night Raw against Rob Conway. Now, when the Eugene character was first put on WWE TV, there were some media outlets that kind of frowned upon, and what they would ask was, what is WWE doing now? What kind of character are they doing now? And they didn't really say anything particularly against me. I didn't hear any flack, but some people were wondering, WWE is trying to be edgy here with this character. But then once I had the first match, once Eugene won his first match and people realized this was an underdog story of a guy, achieving his dreams against all odds. And this episode of Raw is probably one of my favorite because on multi-levels, because as the Eugene character developed and we saw more of him, we also saw more of the William Regal character. And I remember being, extremely nervous because I'd worked my whole career, since I was 8 years old. I wanted to be a WWE superstar. And now was my big match. And I was in the perfect match against my good friend, Rob Conway, but I was still nervous. But I knew the time had come and I was confident in my skills. And I remember on Monday Night Raw, as we built up to the match, it was the backstage segment. Bischoff goes, William Regal, if we can get Eugene to lose, he'll be so sad that he'll leave professional wrestling forever. Because Bischoff was embarrassed of Eugene, his nephew, on Monday Night Raw. So now Regal was kind of caught between someone that he liked and someone that he wanted to help. And if he caused Eugene to lose, he would be on the main roster wrestling again. Regal had been gone for quite some time, and now he was back. And it was that episode when Eugene's giving me a pep talk. And Eugene, Regal is a phenomenal actor, and his pep talk was true and honest about Eugene was getting the chance to do something that people just dream of. And no matter what happens, he was a winner. And then Eugene hugs Regal, and Regal's patting him, and the camera came around, and the emotion on Regal's face that he really cared for Eugene. He endeared himself to Eugene, but then he knew what he had to do, and he sucked it up and gave it the British stiff upper lip. And I remember Regal would say often that a good heel does something wrong, but a great heel knows he's doing something wrong and does it anyway. So time for the match. We go to the ring. I was amazed on the number of signs everywhere for Eugene. This was like Eugene's 4th or 5th episode on Monday Night Raw, and the whole arena was filled with. I don't think that there's any WWE superstar that had been on that few of Monday Night Raws and had that many signs in the crowd. The Eugene character was taking off. And when I got in the ring, I knew the Eugene character was going to be a comedy character. Because at the time, this was post-NWO, post-Stone Cold, but everybody still wanted to be a cool, strong heel that got all their moves in and didn't sell anything. Well, I knew Eugene was going to be the complete opposite. I wanted to be a comedy babyface doing comedy moves and making the crowd laugh, a kid's character, because Hurricane and Rosie were 2 kids characters, but at that point, I think they had just been moved to SmackDown or would have been moved to SmackDown soon. So one brand didn't have a kid's character, and that target audience wasn't being filled. So I went out with Conway. We did a little bit of comedy, and Conway played it so great. Sometimes guys in the ring will do comedy if I'm a heel and the babyface is doing comedy, and then I get in on the joke. But the fans might laugh, but it's not true emotion, because if I'm doing something silly and making the heel look bad and he gets pissed, that's when it really works, because now it's true emotion that he wants to beat up the guy that's making him look silly. Although Eugene would be disadvantaged on just sheer mental capacity. And I remember we had set up some kind of heat spot to do. And Conway, we did something, and he hit me with an elbow off the ropes, and the crowd gasped like someone dropped a baby. And Conway, so good, on the fly in the ring, goes, "Nope, that's our heat right there," because we already had him. If we did something else, it wouldn't have meant as much. So we got the heat there. We did the spot where Regal tried to cause me to lose, tripping the ankle. Eugene turns around, looks what's going on. Conway grabs me for the waist lock. I switch. I do the O'Connor roll up with a bridge. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. Eugene won his first match. The crowd erupted. And me personally, I won my first WWE Raw match as a main roster participant. I was on cloud 9. I remember going back to the hotel that night, and I was just so excited. I called everybody I knew. People called me because they watched it live on TV. And to think, my boyhood dream of wrestling for the WWE, to be a character on Monday Night Raw, was fulfilled. And it was just one of the greatest moments of my life, one of the highlights of my career. And I'm going to tell you about many more in upcoming videos. So stay tuned and keep watching. If you like this video and you want to see more content from Eugene behind the scenes, click on one of these videos. They are awesome.